getting or wanting to see information out to everybody.
Especially something this.
Everybody, they need to know.
Council meeting will be basically what this notice will say is a report on potential rate increases. Do you want us to state an amount or just potential rate increases?
I would want to know right now, how far are we behind? You've already said that $13 gets us to a break-even position. I want to see it. I want to be able to show the folks what $13 would cost, and then how it would be, where it would go.
Are you talking about the presentation for the council meeting or the notification to go on the doors?
I think putting something together in short order, they might.
Put that in,
Yeah, that would be a good thing to show.
basically what was in the memo to council, I can put that in
That's right.
notice.
That would be good.
We can.
Actually showing also, I think we need to show the comparable rates. So that needs to be a piece of that as well.
Okay.
Showing comparable rates of where we fall within those
Well,
rates.
I'll put together something over the next few days, and I will email it out to the council. And if you've got any tweaks or anything that need to be made to it, we'll have to do it quickly, of course, to give folks as much time as possible. But we'll get that to you first next week,
Right.
and see if that's accepted. All right. Okay.
Councilman Barfield. Yeah.
I'm now waiting. I'll see on that.
What the team just talking about.
Can I ask a question? Am I allowed to ask a question?
Maybe we look at.
No? Okay, I'll do it later.
Okay. 9G, Downtown Development Authority, urban building, city manager.
Mayor and council, this is simply an information item on the agenda. It is a follow-up again to the fiscal year 14 retreat that we had. Council commissioned through an RFP process back in January of this year a study that was done on the Odom building. The Odom building, of course, was donated to the city by Greg Odom, and the city now owns the building. We performed that study. Our local architect, Altman and Barrett, consulted with a structural engineer, and we did compensate them for that. We have the results of that study. It states that the building, while the walls appear structurally sound, pretty much all of the interior would need to be gutted. The structural engineer and the architect recommend that should a rehabilitation project be undertaken, that cost could be in excess of $850,000 or more. There are a couple of different alternatives that were discussed at the retreat. One alternative was to sell the building. Of course, that has an uncertain end. If the building is sold, you never know who gets it, and if they have any plans. Right now, of course, it sits vacant. We've been received indication from the city of Valdosta that it will not be occupied because of the structural conditions that are within it. So it's going to sit there vacant until it's gutted and until it meets code. So a private investor is going to have to invest a significant amount of money to do it. Would they be able to do it is the question as well. Another alternative is for the city to somehow undertake it, not necessarily using city or Hahira funds, but for an economic development purpose, potentially for retail space or other commercial purposes that could be developed speculatively. One of the financing structures that was proposed, we had a representative from the state, Ms. Kelly Lane, who came from the Department of Community Affairs, and she offered a number of suggestions. She stated yes, that it is possible. There are 3 different funding sources that the state has. One of which is a redevelopment fund. There's $1.5 million set aside every year, most of which goes unused on the state level for redevelopment. It's a grant to the city, but a low-interest loan to a third party or a no-interest loan. There are a couple of other loan amounts, loan programs that are out there, each of which can yield up to $250,000. One's available through a nonprofit called the Georgia Cities Foundation. The other is the Downtown Development Revolving Loan Fund. Most of these structures are used in concert with a downtown development authority, a topic which has been discussed off and on for a number of years here. Whether or not that's something that the council wants to do or entertain, we just put some example documents up there for you to look at. Just really seeking some direction from the council as to what appropriate next steps would be.
Any questions, concerns?
Another dilemma that, we're talking about historical preservation and how best to do that. Because you don't wave a magic wand and those things fix themselves. And if we are going to get into historic preservation, which that building is mine, we all know that, how best to do it. I know there's been a very negative view of things like downtown development authorities. But again, knowing how these things work, because being a part of a city that had several authorities like this, speaking with people that I know very closely who work with these types of entities in towns, all I would ask is that we come up with a method of teaching or informing our citizens, merchants, residents, about what these things actually do and what they don't do. Because I think there's a lot of fear about these types of things. But there are certain things that you just can't do as a city that development authorities can.
That's right.
And if you don't delve into this and put the mechanism in order, then you're never going to be able to take care of these types of things with cities, because cities are limited in what they can do. Owning property, borrowing money, renovating buildings, these types of things. They're things we can do, but too many things we can't do. But development authorities can. Redevelopment authorities can. And there's a lot of fear that these types of things limit other people, which is not necessarily so. And so I would just hope that we could, and I've talked to Jonathan about this, I want to find the sharpest consultant in the way of being able to come in and have some forums for our public to be explained to, not by us and not by you or the mayor or myself, but someone from the Georgia Municipality Association, somebody, they do this all the time and understand and dot I's and cross T's on how these things work and can benefit your attempts to take buildings and to preserve them and to come up with the funding to do so. That will not be invasive to anyone and limit anyone's ability to have their business and run their business the way they want to run it and not interfere with how they want their building to work. These things don't really do those things, but there's a lot of propaganda out there that says, well, they're going to tell you everything to do. They don't. If they do, they're breaking the law. So I would just like to encourage us, Jonathan. I need to be informed as well. We brought up today on what maybe has changed since I delved into it and had some experience with it. I think there are a lot of people out there that we could bring in who work these things and know, can tell you what they can do, what they can't do, how you can set them up, and how we can utilize something like this to take care of a lot of things that will be coming on our plate in the near future. And move forward with that.
What form do you want that to take place of? I mean, if it's an educational session, do you want that to take place at a future work session?
I think this is something that needs to be an entity of its own. I think this is important enough to people in this city, as far as especially merchants and the like, that it doesn't need to be mixed in with anything else. The focus needs to be on it.
I think at night would be preferable.
Some kind of a night forum, whether it be here, at the community center. We bring some folks in that have backgrounds and reputations and experiences that we can be assured that what we're hearing is something that